Hello, back again with another reloading video. Now I don't do these often, but just as an update, this is a Lee turret press. This is the classic. It's just a 4-hole press. And I've got it set up to do 223 right now. And we've already got our brass resized and deprimed and cleaned. I've already cleaned out the military crimp that's in some of those. It is a mixed range brass, so they've all been resized, deprimed, and the primer pockets cleaned out. Here we've got 55 grain full metal jacket. So we got those there, and kind of what this video is just, you know, before it was 9mm, so I just wanted to show some 223. Just started reloading this stuff. And what I've also got, this is Inline Fabrications. This is their deal right here, this little slide plate plus the little, you can barely see it, but it's a little kind of kick out add-on that you could do for these press. Now it does come with a brand new dowel here that has, it's a reverse. So if you're looking at it and it looks like it's going backwards, it's because it is. That's the way this one's designed, is to do the turret backwards in rotation. So it's supposed to kick out your completed round, and it's got a little ramp so you can set it up here. Now their design, they want you to buy their mount to do their turret to a plate, and then they got their bins that, you know, mount to the plate and all that. But I built this desk, and it was built in mind for, you know, anything I want to do to it. You know, this is just cheap 2x4 right here. Actually, it's a 2x10x12. But you get the idea. You know, if I want to, you know, I just drilled holes straight into the side of my bench. You know, this is mounted directly to the table. So this was a workbench, you know, that didn't really have any purpose. I'm not really tearing up any furniture here. So I went against their plate and Lee's plate. Lee has a plate as well. And went ahead and mounted this directly to my table along with this. And if you notice, you know, there's a little piece here that they have that's supposed to help line this tray up for, you know, they're using their setup. But, you know, it feeds just the same. So I didn't go with their plate. But let's go ahead and load a few rounds here. Go ahead and grab our brass, and you know, you'll realize some of these actually have issues loading the primers. Some of them are old military brass. Like that one went in nice. That almost felt like a 9mm round. And then we've already calibrated our powder. We're dropping 9.5 grains of IMR 4198. We are running a factory crimp. See that one there? It didn't actually make it around because it got stuck up top. So that's one thing with this. I don't know if we're supposed to do any lube or anything like that. It didn't say so in the instructions, but I have noticed, primer drop, I have noticed it gets stuck up at the top. So I see our primer, and I've already, like I said, set this up to drop 19.5 grains. You know, I measured like 5 different pours to make sure that it's all dropping correctly. So that one didn't go down the slide, but it still made it to the bin. And the big thing is, you know, people ask me, oh, reloading, how time consuming is it, you know? And I tell them, well, I do it as a hobby, but realistically you wind up touching your brass so many times between resizing, depriming, throwing it in the cleaner, pulling it out of the tumbler, pulling it off the press, putting it into the press, and then, you know, when you're done, you know, you grab your round, you do your headspace checker, make sure it slides in, slides out real easy, and then you pick it up from your completed bin and you put it in storage. So there's a lot that goes into it that's time consuming. And that's why I approach reloading as more of a hobby that allows me to shoot more and save a little bit of money. So it's, if you get into it just to save money, you're going to be disappointed really quick. You know, unless you're trying to load thousands and thousands and thousands of rounds, turn your money back. I mean, realistically, if you load somewhat consistently, you'll get your money back in 6 to 10 months. I mean, depends on how much you buy, of course, what equipment you go with, things like that. So, me, I'm just getting into 223 reloading. Done a lot of non-reloading, a lot of 308 reloading, all on this press. Let's see, here's one that's want to be difficult. You don't ever want to have to force them in like that. I just forced that one in. As you can see, that primer didn't really sit perfectly in there. And if you try to force that in there, what you're going to do is you're going to wind up either collapsing that primer and it's not going to go off, or you're going to overseat it and you're going to have a hard time with your hammer or your firing pin hitting that primer. So a lot of times when it hits this, some people would pop the primer out, clean the pocket. Me, I throw it in all my junk brass pile, because I'm getting all this brass for free from the range. It's not that big a deal to throw one away every now and again. So, you know, I would say maybe I have one out of every 30 or 40 that I've got to throw away like that. Now, me saying that, watch these. I was going to say this next one was going to be a similar instance. So, luckily we didn't have that. But, you know, just a proficient pace. You know, we're not trying to break records or try to beat some whatever. And the big thing is you don't want to go fast. You want to get a good rhythm. You want to find something that's just slow and steady wins the pace, or wins the race. And again, if I wanted just like 1,000 rounds of ammo really quickly, you're better off just buying it. Or unless you go to something crazy like a Dillon press, where you're going for quantity. And it's not to say you won't get quality out of going fast. Some people are really, really good at going fast. You know, I'm not against it. I just like slow and steady. Now, I did do a 30-minute run of 9mm before I've got this little kick-out piece. And I've also upgraded my handle. If you'll look over here, let's see if it's in the picture. Yeah, you can see it back here. This is the rolling style grip back here in the back. See, I'm trying to get my camera to focus. For me, it's an ergonomic thing. I like it so far. I don't think it would actually increase production. I think this little kick-out piece definitely will, though. You know, that right there is just awesome to me. I really like that. So, and I was able to do 140 rounds in 30 minutes. So, you know, it doesn't take a mathematician to say 280 in an hour, plus or minus. So, to me, that's more than I expected, you know. And that wasn't with any distraction. You know, I was focused on trying to make sure I was loading it correctly, but being efficient. A lot of times I'll just, you know, load up Netflix in the background, have something to listen to. Let's see, got stuck up there again. So, I don't know if I gotta lube this thing up or what it's hitting up there, but I gotta have a look at that. But yeah, you know. So I'm hoping with this little kick-out system, if I can get it to work really efficiently, you know, maybe I can pick that number up to, you know, 300 plus. That would be cool. But again, you know, not really going for super high numbers. Just the novelty wears off at a certain point. Once when you've loaded a few thousand, you know, you're more like, I kind of want my rounds, And the loading part, like I said, the novelty wears off. And you're just like, I want my rounds. So, you know, that's kind of the point I'm at. It's something with that crimp die. Every time I hit that crimp die, it's not liking it. You know, hopefully this will help speed up production. And this is just some good old 223. And what's great about it is I've actually just started reloading it 2 days ago. So, you know, it's, for me, it felt like just doing any other ammo. Actually a little bit easier than 308. I'm gonna check the primer on that one. Okay. It felt easier than 308 to do. 308, I can't use this powder measure. The stick of powder is too thick, and it has a hard time feeding. This IMR 4198 is actually a little bit smaller stick powder, but this thing does great with my disc powder. I use tight group, Hodgkin's tight group for my 9mm. But I do have problems with my powder measure leaking. It leaks some powder occasionally, and you know, probably after about 500 rounds, you have to look at, you know, cleaning up your area a little bit, and you lose a little bit of powder that way. But it's not that big a deal. But yeah, I'm actually happy how well this piece works, other than it getting hung up a little bit. And you know, you saw how many were in the bin before I started. So I think I literally did a five or six round test run before I cranked up the video. So I didn't work out any bugs ahead of time. I just kind of checked functionality and then cranked up the press and cranked up the YouTube. See if we can get in a little rhythm here. What I learned though is going slow on the kick out round, where you're kicking the round out, is we're going to check it. That seemed a little tough. It looks good. That kick out round, you want to take it slow, because this is a little bit bigger round than say like a pistol round. And it could, the first one I did where I was like trying to go faster, I kicked it out in my lap. I was like, well, that's not what we're aiming for. Check that one, that felt a little tough. Some of those are the military crimps, and then some of them, they slide right in, and I'll look at them and I can tell it's old military brass, but, you know. Like I said, slow and steady, you know, you'll get it there. Fat finger syndrome. Don't judge me. But yeah, I'd say I like this system. Again, you know, I kind of explained sorting your brass, resizing, depriming, throwing it in the in your tumbler, pulling it back out, setting it up in little bins, touching it to put it on, touching it to get it off, touching it to do a headspace gauge, touching it to put it in storage. You know, you handle your brass so much, and you know, I actually notice, you know, that's not a terrible looking round. But if I go pull out my 308, every time you touch it, you're putting oils from your fingers, sweat, and that tarnish gets on here, and it oxidizes, and then it makes your shiny looking brass when you go pull it out, you know, a month or two later to shoot it, you know, it's not as shiny anymore, just from having to handle it so many times. So, you know, maybe that will help too. But overall, this little system right here, and again, they're Inline Fabrication. They make a ton of different stuff for Dillon, RCBS, Lee. I actually was on their site for quite a while looking at all their stuff. So, you know, this is a cool little add-on. I think it will help production. But yeah, but that's some 223 on a turret press with the inline. I guess you would call it a bullet ejector or whatever. I don't know what their nomenclature is on their website, but I'm thoroughly impressed. I really like it. It was $40, and I think it's $40 well spent, considering some stuff for reloading can get really pricey. I think it's a little pricey, literally for 2 pieces of metal and a rubber little nub, but I could definitely justify it. So, thanks for stopping and hanging out, guys. If you liked it, give me a like, thumbs up, thumbs down, comment. You know, if you want to see something else, like I can go back to doing some 9mm with this thing, or show you some 308 stuff, and that's pretty much all I'm loading right now is, you know, 223, 308, and 9. So if you got any questions on that, you know, put it down in the comments, and I'll answer what I can. Y'all have a good one. Thanks.